Pops, can you go? Good girl, well done. Okie dokie. Hopefully I'm coming out live. I'm just going to angle that a little bit. Okay, you wait there. Well done. Let's see if this works. Oh, hang on. Oop. That's better. Take a pop. Yeah, there you go. Alrighty. Oh, good. I've got people joining me. Alright, so I'm going to just swipe the... Look out. Pop it up. Good, well done. Comments away. Let's see. Alright, so I'll wait for a couple more people to join. Okay, come here, you. Good girl. Yeah, good girl. Good. Pops. Good girl. Alrighty, good. So, you can do second. Good girl. Hold on. Alright, let's put you here. Come here, Jungle. Alright, pop it up. Well done. Good. Alright, help you. Here we go. Well done. Good. Alright, I think we're coming out live. So I'm going to make a start. Thank you very much those who are watching and joining me. Just training my dog in the background. Just need a reminder of this. Good. Well done. I'm going to do a little session on retrieve training. It was one of the things that come from the live I did with Reset, just training her, good girl, that I did with Reset the other day, where you saw him picking up an article, and several of you messaged to say, could you go into the greater detail with retrieve? So I thought I'd do it with Jungle, who's in the background, good girl, well done, just reminding her of her, good girl, good, she's all a bit pumped up to train. Good, well done. So let me just, you can see her. I'm going to just flip the camera around. So this is actually a necessary part of retrieve training, believe it or not. So I'm going to get her to just hold position in the crate, in her bed. Yes, good. So my dogs are taught crate games, which is a Susan Garrettism, and you forgot yours. That's a hard one because you're half on the bed, half off the bed. That's not it. Good. Good. Yay, good. That's cheating. Good girl. So it's really important that they understand, good girl, to hold position and remain in situ. And you'll see why that's relevant to retrieve training shortly. All right. So I'm going to just quickly remind Jungle of that to start off with, which will benefit whilst I talk to you guys. So I click the train and retrieve, and one of the stumbling blocks that a lot of people have is how to get rid of... Good. Is to how to get rid of the mouthing and the chewing, which is the initial phase. So the precursor to that is what I'm doing actually with Jungle now, is where the dog needs to understand a duration behaviour. In this instance, it's to remain on the bed. Now I'm cutting her a little bit of slack just for the purpose of demo. I want her ideally actually with her 4 feet, come here, in the bed. It's a bit of a hard one because that's squidgy, isn't it? It's small for you. Come here. Come here. No, don't want that one. Oh, come here. So I'm going to get her to... Good. Come here. I want her to put feet in it. That's better. Good, that's better. So I want her to really stay back in the bed like so, and her understand that if I have an open palm towards her, okay, she's to remain in situ. Yeah, good girl. So she should hold good. She should hold position and not lunge for the food as she's there. She's being a typical pushy Mallee. Good. Good. So I should be able to take the food. I'm going to shut the hand. So again, if you follow Susan Garrett on Instagram, Facebook, etc., you'll see her in greater detail going over It's Your Choice. So It's Your Choice is a precursor, good girl, nice, good, to the dog being able to do a retrieve. So that's a fundamental piece of the puzzle that you need to have trained before you start retrieve training, and we'll see why. So I want to be able to obviously drop food on the ground, good, get it, etc., before I start my retrieve training, okay? So the dog understands that, and as I say, that's a fundamental part of how I train my dogs and raise my dogs, and it allows me to teach lots of different behaviours, and the dog should understand, oh, good girl, even if there's food dropping on the floor, good girl, Get it? She should remain in situ, all right? So I'm going to flip the camera around and then talk through the next bit, actually, yeah, and then I'll show you the articles that I've got and why I use them. So I'm going to just move the camera. Good. So she's come out. Yay, good. She hopped back in. Super. Good. Good choice. Good. So when you're talking about the articles that you want to use, good girl, you want to think about using something that's friendly to the dog but isn't going to be perceived by the dog as a toy. So I'm multitasking, training my dog as well as talking to you guys. Excuse you. Thank you. Good girl. And it's really important that you put some consideration in. Let me just rotate that a little bit. So it could be, depending on the dog that you have, so with my Mallies, I tend to use an article that is a little bit more solid and rigid. So this white bit of pipe is great to start them off with. If it was a dog with a small breed, I don't think so. Good. Well done. If it's a small breed or a dog with a softer mouth, I would use a softer article. Good girl. So the other thing to consider is to use random articles. So this is just a scoop from Supplement, and this is one of Neve's little bricks that my dogs have accosted over the years, and she doesn't really play with. Good girl. Well done. I like to randomise the article that I use. It's really important. Now, it's also helpful if you have a dog like, say, for example, a Mallee with a hard mouth, to use something solid. So this is a little plastic, I don't even know where it's come from, but it's hard plastic, it's rigid, and it's awkward for them to pick up. So they have to be a little bit more thoughtful. So if you have a dog that's really, really manic on retrieve or is predisposed to have a really high retrieve drive, then I would suggest, or prey drive, I would use something that is less inviting for them to grab. So they have to be a little bit more thoughtful, okay? Obviously, you want to think safety first. You don't want to use anything that's going to injure or hurt the dog, but you do want to use something that they have to apply a bit of logic. And you'll see with Jungle, good girl, why that would be beneficial, all right? So when you first start it, as I say, a precursor is the dog understands it's your choice. And ideally, I'll use that one. Good girl. Ideally, the dog has... I know, it's hard, isn't it? You're being very pushy. Ideally, the dog should understand the open palm, closed palm, which is the beginning of it's your choice. And the dog understand to stay in position as Jungle is now. Good girl. I'm going to let her make a choice. Excuse you. Good, super. Good girl. So, over my palm, I'm testing her now a little bit. She's out of camp. Good girl. You can see she's just offered me a free sit. So I'm going to move them around. Yeah, it's always good, even at this stage, to revisit foundation with her. Because she is the way she is, I have to constantly go back and revisit, especially when she's a little bit more excited and she has a good association of coming in here and training. So she always gets that little bit more high, which is relevant for the breed. So it's something good to work through, okay? So the precursor is the dog understands it's your choice. Okay, I'll show you. Good girl. Good. Okay, so if she offers me a position, so I'm going to cue her actually to sit. Good. So I should be able to open my palm. Good. If she holds position, if she leans forward, good girl. I just closed my palm. I don't think so. Super. Good. Open my palm. Dog holds position. Good. And she should be able to allow me to. Good. Get it? I'll swap hands. It's a bit awkward that way. Good. Come here, Bob. Good. She should. Super. Good. So she should allow me to open my palm. She's not at the moment, so that's fine. Good girl. Okay. And give her food from that palm. Well done. Good. So, dribbly, how delightful. Oh, so a little tip. From the other day, I put matting down today. Just because, again, if you're training in small spaces, you want to be thinking about the floor. We've got laminate flooring, and obviously I used the rug the other day, or the mat the other day. Good girl. This has just got more traction. Now, most of you are going to probably say this, if they know what this is. It's gym floor matting. Okay, good girl. That it's upside down. It's deliberately so upside down. Good girl. Because this side up, the floor side up, so this would normally be flipped, has a little bit more grip and traction. The other side is a bit more slippy. So what I do with this is obviously you can lay it anywhere, you can put it away, it dismantles. If you have a small space, another little pro tip for you is have this in a place that's accessible. It comes in packets, I think it's 6 per packet. You can get them online. I think I got these from a shop. Got a feeling I got these from Halfords in the UK. They fit together, they dismantle really, really easy. Good girl. Really easily, and you can put them away and use them when you want to train. So it just gives your dogs better footing. So it's great. Again, it's very, very small space. It's all about being effective and efficient in small spaces. So coming back to our retrieve training, it's really important, as you can see now. She's good. As soon as I talk to you. So I'm going to just talk to her randomly and say, hey, isn't this a lovely Malinois? Good. Good. Super. Get it? Good. As soon as I give you my attention, you want to push. Good. Super. So I can do some self-control games around the food. That's really important. Good girl. Okay, let's get it. Get it! Good. Out. Yep. Good. That's really important as a precursor to my retrieve training. Oh, it's a new toy. So let's just get rid of those. Okay. Ready. So I can. Good. So she can offer a position. I can have my palm open. Good. And she'll hold that position, etc. Okay. So I don't want her leaning in like that. Good. Nice. Good. Good. Super. Get it? Get it? Get it? Yeah, good. And she can do the same with toys. That's really important before you start teaching your retrieve. Often people, thank you, good girl, will start doing retrieve training before that have that understanding. Ideally, I like to do retrieve training at 2 points with my puppies or with my dogs. Settle. Good girl. Well done. Good. One. So constantly visiting it. Come here. Good. Or constantly reminding her. Come here. Good. Good girl. So I like to start retrieve training at 2 points with my puppies if I have the opportunity. One is before they start teething. For some reason, puppies, good girl, tend not to mouth when we're really, really tiny. Most breeds, even my Mallies, tend not to mouth naturally before they're teething. Otherwise, I wait till after they've finished teething, and I wait till they understand this concept of duration and stillness, which she's struggling with, which is good girl. Good. Yeah. So I either do it before they start teething, therefore they're less likely to mouth, or I wait till the dog understands self-control and has an element of self-control, which you are struggling with today. Good girl. Super. So I'm going to just remind you. Super. Good. Good. Get that one. Oh. Excuse you. What were you doing? Good. So again, you will see shortly why this is beneficial. Good. To remind the dog to be still. Good. You should have really had that one. Good girl. Get it. Good. Well done. Let's just do that again. Good. Nice. Okay. So that's really, really important. Get it. Good. Okay. Once I've got that. Oh, you go. Good girl. Good. Good. Out. Yep. Good. Once the dog understands that, then I can consider doing my retrieve, and you'll see how that follows through. So I've got my article in my pocket, and obviously I would initially shape the dog to pick up the article. So sniff the article, not necessarily pour the article, sniff the article, grab the article, etc. Good girl. Once the dog does that, and I'll pick it up off the ground. So I'm going to fast track that with Jungle. What I will do is I'm going to share some videos of a couple of early stages of retrieve training with some dogs, with her and another dog, an Australian Shepherd, to show that. I'm going to share that on my Facebook page as a precursor, and those are videos that are available in the Jungle book. So, she loves this article. So, first thing I do is build up a little bit of excitement. Obviously, you don't want to have the dog hysterical, just a bit of interest. Pop the article out and wait for her to offer to pick it up. Okay. Yep, good. So as soon as they go towards it, I would reward. When I reward, I'm deliberately taking the dog away from the article, okay? That allows me to pick the article up and restart the little sequence again. The reason being is that when I want to put the verbal cue on, it's very easy to do that, all right? So tease the dog a little bit. Ready? Okay. Yep, good. So I'm just clicking her for teeth on. I'm clicking her early just to show you the sequence. Obviously she can pick this up. She understands it. Obviously she has a lot of value for this article. So I'm clearing the dog from the space and I'm going to go again. Ready? Ask for a bit more this time. Oh, struggle. She says you clicked me early too many times. So I'm going to let her figure it out. Yep. Good. Good. So you can see there, just by clicking her early, she's questioning, oh, you changed criteria, you don't want me to pick it up. That's very typical with a trained dog or a dog that offers behaviour. When you click too many times earlier, the behaviour gets weaker. So let's do that again. Ready? Ho, 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 ho. Yep, good. Okay, so she offered me a sit. Now your dog may or may not offer the sit, it doesn't really matter. Again, clearing her from the retrieve article gives me plenty of time to calmly, and that's really important, pick it up. Don't be frantic, otherwise you'll build in unnecessary possession of the article, or the dog wanting to get the article, and therefore you'll have conflict. Okay, let's go again. Three. Good. Yep, good. So she's offering to pick it up, she's holding nice and still. Good girl. Well done. Good, it's way good. Alright, so now, good. Sleep up on your bed. Come here, you. Oh, dead leg. Thank you. Good, you. Good, yeah. Come over here. Come on. Put up there. Let's get some more treats. Good. Load again. Well done, and we'll go on again. Good. Good. Well done. Squeeze you. Super. Well done. Good. So, okay. Good, yeah. So we've got our dog now picking up the article. And initially what's going to happen is they're probably going to chew it, okay? You're going to just wait for the dog to pause or be still. Now, Jungle's been through this stage where I waited longer and longer for to hold the article stiller. However, this is where your it's your choice and your stillness, understanding of stillness, or the concept of duration and stillness, I should say, will benefit you. So I'm going to show you how the two things go together. Oh, ready? So I'm going to get to pick it up, okay? And then I'm going to have my treat in my, yep, good, open palm, which tells her to remain doing what she's doing, and the food's going to be delivered shortly, okay? So it's almost like, I suppose you could describe it as a keep going marker. So clear the retrieve, the dog from the retrieve again, pause, tease. Oh no, went under the sofa. Good, all right, we'll change the article. Went under the sofa, doesn't matter. Good, let's go back again. Good girl. Yep, good. Get it? You can have it. Now she should have dropped that. I don't think she heard me click because I was nattering away. Good girl, get it. I just wait her out. Let's do that again. Okay. Good. Yep. Good. So I let her drop it and get the article. Often you find that people will struggle with that concept of the dog being allowed to, come in, drop the article. But for me, I want the dog to do that, okay? Because that's really important. So the dog wants what I have as opposed to the article itself. So, okay. So I let her pick it up. Open my palm, so she understands. Good girl. Good. Yep. Good. You can see her there holding that article really still because she's waiting for me to click her. Yeah, if she had chewed the article, all I would have done, let me see if I can get her to do that. So, good. Is, so I'm going to tease her a little bit of the food. Oh, so I closed my palm, let her figure out to pick it up. Good. Open my palm again. Slight movement there. Yep, good, and let her come and get the article, okay? So it's really significant that the dog understands that open palm means keep doing what you're doing, the food is on the way. Ready? Okay, good, nice. So open palm, she moved around, I'm going to close. Good. Yep, good, let her come and get the article, go get the food. Good girl, let's do one more. Ready, so I can do the same with toys. Okay, oh, let's get up already. Okay, good. Present the article. Excuse you. Come here, you. Good, good. Whoa. Get it! Nice! And then releasing the toy. Out! Yep! Good, nice. Good girl. Well done. Okay, let's go back. Now, if you watch how she picks this article up, it's actually very helpful for her being a little bit more mindful. As you can see, she's enthusiastic about retrieves, which for a dog like her could very quickly, come here, quickly escalate into her being frenzied about the exercise. So this has enough it just has a little bit of room for her mouth to get under and pick up. I can place it that way, same principle as well, so that she can pick it up easily off the ground. But it's not a standard article. She has to apply a little bit of thought to it, really. Okay. Let's figure it out. So she mouthed on the pickup there. So I'm going to just wait her out a little bit, see if I can... Oh, what's that? Oh, so she picked it up. Let's try again. She released it. Go again. Okay. Good. Nice. That was better. Oh, so I'm going to tease her now a little bit. So, come here. So now I want her to do the whole thing and not release it, alright? So you wouldn't initially do this with a young dog. You would need to build up in increments to the dog being able to hold it longer. Adding it's your choice, and now I'm pushing on and asking her to pick it up and hold it firmly. Okay. So pick it up. Oh, gotcha. So if she does that, she mounts it, throws it around, I just intercept. Okay. Good. Nice. Good. Yep. Good one. Super good. Nice one. Good. That was really good. Once the dog can do that, then I can grow the dog's understanding to moving around with it. Alright, so I'm going to get some treats. Oh, these are great treats, by the way. Crave, they're called. Come in nice sticks. They're soft and palatable. I'm not sponsored by Crave, but I like their treats. So, but if Crave is out there, by all means, send me some treats. I'll be more than happy to receive them. All right, so moving on. So let's put the article out. So I'm going to encourage her to come to me. Yep, good. And reward her near me. All right, so I'm getting a little bit of movement now. Generally, what happens is the dog is doing what she's doing. She assumes it's a stillness exercise, which is absolutely fine, because now I need to encourage her to move. Ready? So I can do that by just creating a bit of distance. Okay. Yep, good. And clicking her as she moves. Alternatively, if your dog can do a hand touch, so let's just remind her of that. Yep, good. I can cue the dog to deliver the article to hand. So let's do that one. Good girl, pop. You right? Ready? Yep, good. Good girl. And clicking her as she brings that article to hand. Let's do that again. Hey, you. Ready? Do it here. Come on. Yep. Good. Good girl. She's a bit confused there. Good girl. Ready? Okay. Yep. Good. So just clicking her as she moves with it. Again, even though I'm in a small space, I can create a lot of movement. Good girl. Right there. Right there. Good. Right there. Good. I can also ask her to take it from my hand. Ready? Okay. Yep. Good. Nice. Good girl. Alright. So at this stage, I'm just going for the dog holding the article very briefly and building up the various elements, moving with it, little tiny bits of duration, etc. Once the dog has that understanding, I can build it and ask for longer duration and make it harder for her. So I'm going to do a couple of those with her. Okay, good. So let's see if I can put a treat on it. Oh, we can't. Let's try again. Come here. Come here, you. Come here. Good girl. That's it. Okay. Good. Super. Ooh. Almost. Yep. Good. So just little mind games there. So I'm trying to see if I can put a treat in the actual middle of it. Let's see. That's a hard one, isn't it? Ready? Okay. Good. Super girl. Hang on. Hang on. Yep. Get it. It's there. It was on it. Good girl. Well done. Let's do it with the toy now. Well done. Good. Yay. Okay. Good. Ooh. Nice. Good. So again, just variations of it's your choice. Good girl. That is the key factor. Good girl. Crazy. Good girl. Good girl. Out. Oh, excuse you. I think I said something. Cool. Thank you. Good. Okay. Get it. Out. Thank you. That's better. Good. That's the key element that most people miss out to get their dog to do a solid hold. Yeah. Once the dog understands that, I can then think about introducing a verbal cue. So my verbal cue, which I've introduced, is come here, come here, come here. I know it's not a treat now. Good girl. Is FETCH. Ready? And again, because I've protected the dog picking this article up, presenting it and releasing her from the collar is actually a little cue for her. Yeah? Ready? Ready, so fetch. Yep. Good. So now I'm adding a cue to the behaviour, yeah? So I can do that on the ground, presenting it. Fetch. Yep. Good. Yeah? Let's do that one again. Ready? So let's do it on the hand touch. Fetch. Good girl. Let's try again. Come here, Pop. Good girl, well done. Fetch. Oh, I'm getting confused. Yep, good. Super, well done. Not be confused there, didn't you? Good girl. Good. Let's do it again. Thank you. Right, push. Madam. Good girl. Good. Okay, let's do one more. Come here, come here. Come here, Pops. Jungle. Good girl, well done. Ready? Fetch. Come here. Come on. Come on, you're conflicted about that hand. Good girl. Come on. Yep, good. Good. You're conflicted about that hand, aren't you? Good, let's do it again. Ready? Fetch. That one. Yep, good. Oh, that was crappy. That was crappy. Do it again. Ready? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Good. Okay. Yeah, I knew you didn't do it on that one. Let's do it again. I didn't use your cue. Fetch. No. Come on. Yay! Super. Not going to reward that one. You could do better. Fetch. Yep. Good. Slight mouth on that one, but I'm going to let her have that one because she's obviously struggling about bringing it to my hand when I'm sitting on the ground. I think that's what's throwing her. Ready. Fetch. Yep. Good girl. Well done. Right, let's test that theory out. See if it's because I'm sitting on the ground. Good girl. Come here then. Come here. Pops. Ha ha ha. Okay. Let's do it. I wait for it to look at it. Fetch. Yep. Good. Better. Good. Good. Let's do that one again. Ready today. Ha ha ha. Ready. Fetch. Yep. Good. Nice. Good. Let's do it again. Ready today. Fetch. Yep. Good. Super. Good girl. Let's do it for a toy now. Good. Hey, Pops. Yeah. She's a good. She's a good. Come here. Jungle. Come here. Give it a collar. Give it a collar. Give it a collar. Ready. Fetch. Yep. Nice one. Super. Yeah. So just working her through there when she got a bit confused about me being on the floor with her. Good girl. Good girl. For whatever reason she got thrown, but it's good to good girl. Generalize and proof her dog's understanding. Okay, that'll do. Good girl. Good girl. Proof their understanding so they can do it in any picture. Clearly that's something that she's a bit not sure about, me sitting on the floor and doing a hand touch, coming to hand and being able to bring the article. Excuse me. Good girl. Yeah, you can have that. Good. That through her, that's a good little gap for me to go over and address with her. Good girl. So, again, breaking down and retrieve, it's really important that your dog understands the first bit, which is it's your choice. You can do that with, obviously, what are you doing? Good girl. With, in a bed, in your crate games. Good girl. What are you doing? Get off, you puppet. That's enough. Good girl. Good girl. Your dog can do, you can do that with crate games. Hang on a second. Good girl. That's enough. Get the toy. With it's your choice in various contexts. You can do it on a hand touch. Let's do that. Ready, steady? Come here. Let's do one on a hand touch, actually. Let's get some food and show you that. Oh, come here. Jungle, come here. Good. Pop it up. Good girl. Well done. Good. 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 I'm going to just do a little hand touch with added it's your choice. Okay. Good girl. Hold on. Let's do it with food first. So again, another variation of teaching your dog the open palm, close your palm concept, or a little bit, it's your choices on the hand touch. So good. Yep, good. You can see there, Jungle, pushing into the hand when the food's coming near her nose. There. Oh, so she comes off. I just pull the hand away and pull the food away. Good. Yep, good. And she understands there, as you can see, to remain doing what she's doing and being still to get the food. Pops. Good. You right? Good. 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 Yep. Good. Super. Good girl. Well, let's do it again. Come here, you. Yes. Good. Yep. Good. Good girl. So she understands that if I have that food and my palm open, be still, carry on with what you're doing, and wait for a click. So when I introduce that my article, ready, fetch. Good. Yep, good. She understands the same concept. All right. Really important you can do that bit before you move on to retrieve training. Obviously, there's other little bits which are covered with Jungle specifically, and my other two dogs, Reset and Hottie, on the Jungle book. What I'm going to do, good girl, get up, Sonia. Good girl. Good girl. What I'm going to do is share some videos of her earlier training when I trained her in the bathroom. So again, at this time of year, and given the current climate, the fact that we're in lockdown, it's really helpful to be able to train in a smaller space. So bathrooms are great places to train. Good girl. To train dogs. And obviously the living room, which is great. This is a really, really small space. And being creative about your training. So, for example, just investing in some matting so you've got good traction. And there's loads of exercises that you can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just pop her out and give her a drink. It gets quite warm in here. And then I'm going to log back on and open up to questions, and I'll have a look if there's any questions. All right? So live dog training, sometimes these things, it crops up little problems and exposes things in your training, which it did with her coming to me when I was sat on the floor. Something that she can work through and become better and have a better understanding. All right? So, yeah. All right, guys. I will see you shortly to answer questions. See you in a bit. Okay. So, I'm just going to wait for this to begin. I think the camera's a bit... Oh, just... No. That's better. All righty. So, back live again. Just going to answer some questions. I'm going to have a look at the video and the comments. And if you have any questions, by all means, post them here. Let me just get rid of that. I'll wait for a couple more people to join. Let's have a look. That's better. Alrighty. So, people trickling in. I'm just going to go back and answer some questions. So, all right. So, Deborah Steele asked, is OK initial release to go and pick up, please? Yes. So, OK is my generic release word for my dogs to, release from behaviour and offer, etc. For some reason it's very dark in here, but never mind. So yes, it would just basically give her permission to go and do the behaviour. I'm going to change this. Let's have a look. Oh, that's better. Okay. So yeah, it's just it is just not, as you say, it's a release word, and then she's allowed to go and offer me the behaviour, which in this case was pick up the article. So the thing to say about demoing is when you demo with the young dog, especially, you always there's a little bit of conflict, as you can see with Jungle, in that you go back stages, which is never a problem, but sometimes if you've progressed on, which for example with Jungle, she can do a formal retrieve now. She was just questioning why are we going back to the kindergarten stage. Not a problem at all. For young dogs to have that understanding that you want to be able to move forward and go back. And it's a good place, especially with your older dogs at this time of year, to go and revisit some more detail and foundation, and to make those little details stronger. Let's just adjust that camera. Yeah, so, yeah, but OK is definitely my release word, all right? And I really like to use my young dogs for demos, just because they're going to make mistakes. My trained dogs will be less likely. No dog is perfect. No, I'm not being conceited and saying they're not going to be. They're going to be absolutely pristine. But it's less likely that a trained dog is going to make the errors that Jungle would make. And from a demonstration point of view, it's far more beneficial for you to see how I deal with those mistakes. So, for example, when she got a bit conflicted about the hand, coming to the hand, how I can work through that and get her to do the correct response. And also how I can build on from that. All right. So yeah, she's cheeky. Yeah. With her, she's a joy to train. I mean, I love that pushiness about her. But it is always a balance between control and drive with a dog like Jungle. But secretly, I actually quite like it. So I tend to allow her to be pushy because I'm confident that I can, implement control and get more control as she gets older. And as she's gaining confidence, I can see that I need to tighten some little details up. Yeah. So how old is Jungle? She is now coming up actually 18 months. So she was a year in August. So yeah, just coming up to the 18-month mark. And she's an absolute delightful little dog. So again, on the Jungle Book, you can follow her and the progress of my two other puppies, Hottie and Reset, over the first 12 months, where you see me doing things like this. So you'll see, as I said, I'm going to post some videos on my Facebook page showing some of her early retrieve training. If you want to see the whole process of her being trained to retrieve and my other dogs, you can join the Jungle Book as of next week, when it will be officially open. All right. So let's have a look. Claire, for my young male Aussie, starts with it's your choice. Hand touch, then asked to pick up something on the floor after a restraining collar grab. He's very soft, loves the tug, has a great out, but doesn't like to hold. Any more suggestions? So I would think about the article that you use, Claire. So use something like even a toilet roll. So the couple of the key takeaways are your dog needs to have an understanding of it's your choice and stillness, because that's a precursor to getting a still hold. Think about the article that you use. It needs to be specific for the dog. So, as I said, with a soft mouth dog, I might use a soft article. With a stronger dog, I might use an article that's a bit more cumbersome, so the dog has to be a bit more thoughtful, because I want the dog to have a very deliberate hold behind the canine. So if you saw Jungle, she very consistently was holding, if that was her mouth, let me do it this way, if that was her mouth, she was holding it like so. Not here. Yeah, I don't want my dogs to hold it here. I want it to hold it here. And with the smaller article, she held it in the front of her teeth, and that's been shaped into her from a very young age. All right. So, funny enough, with the article, I had a couple of articles consistently that I used with her when she was younger, when she first started her retrieve. One was a square stress ball, so one of those foamy balls, and the other one was a little mini pink or red dumbbell. Normally I don't start retrieves on a dumbbell because I don't want to teach bad habits, but with her, it was one that I found when I was moving things around, and it was an easy thing to use. In truth, it had some gauze around the middle, so it was nice for her to pick up. So it was a very, very obvious article to use. However, obviously I've trained several dogs to do retrieves with a clicker. If you're first starting this and you haven't done it before, a confession from past experience. So the dog that I first clicker trained to retrieve, I made an absolute hash of it. So I had to go back and redo it, and did loads of work to fix his retrieve issue. But what I did foolishly with him was I taught it from a dumbbell from the get-go. That was one of the many areas that I made. So with my dog subsequently post him, I don't teach it on a dumbbell, so that I don't potentially poison the Dogs Association of that article and train in faults. Because certainly for an obedience dog in the UK, we have to use a dumbbell to start them off in competing. So I'm potentially setting the tone in their career that they do bad retrieves. However, since that point, I'm obviously, numerous dogs in that I've trained, probably hundreds of dogs now, if not more than that I've trained with clicker trained to retrieve, so I'm much more confident about it now. So I'm happy to use something like a dumbbell to start them off. However, I would suggest if you haven't done it before, use something that it doesn't matter if they make errors on, because you can always start, if you do make errors, you can use another article. I tend to use things that the dog isn't going to come across in a competitive sense. So certainly in obedience, where we do, whilst you can use any article technically, there is limitations. Like you're not going to have, it's highly unlikely that you're going to have metal articles in obedience in the UK. You might on the odd occasion, very rarely, but generally speaking, not so much now. And you probably wouldn't have something like a toilet roll, for example. So they're two articles that I would start a dog off on, which if they do have any issues, I can just ditch and start again with something else. All right. So Wendy's just asked, how would you deal with a dog that will not release the object? Classic problem to have. It was all about what reinforcement you are using. If the dog wants the reinforcement and understands the click and the behavior, and they're allowed to get the reinforcement, hanging on to it should not be an issue. If they are hanging on to it, I need to look at what I'm offering them. The dog has to want to let go of the article in order to get the reinforcement. So this article for my dogs is a lever to press to get reinforcement. The dog understands that if they pick this article up, they will be clicked and they will receive a ball or a tug or food, etc. So it's an exchange. So that allows me to keep control of the dog's arousal, and I can alter the reinforcement that I give them accordingly. And also it means that I don't get things like running on and chewing, etc. So it's really important that you think about the reinforcement. And for example, with Jungle, when she, in fairness to her, I think for whatever reason she didn't hear me click. I just waited her out until I probably would have, in hindsight, I could have asked her to let go. There's several things that could have done. In the moment, she eventually resonated with her and she dropped it. That's fine. And I rewarded her with food. You might find that using a really, really ridiculously high value food will help you, or exchanging it for a toy is often a good way to get them to want to willingly let go. All right. So you haven't watched all this yet, but my understanding is that you are saying in Villo's case, we do It's Your Choice and get him to stop flicking his head around. Not sure about letting him drop it though. Have been told he should hold on to it. If I try to take it with one hand, I only release with two. Listen to your feedback now. Perhaps I do it with another article. So, yes, Susan. So, my dogs are taught to actually release the article eventually. Not even when I just touch it with two hands. They're taught that when I roll my hands over the article and touch the side of their mouth, that's eventually their release cue. So they wouldn't let go of it unless I do that. So, or I click them. So those are the things. If I click them, do my physical gesture, and the third thing is if I cue a verbal release out. Those are the three things which gives them permission to let go of the article. So the click gives the dog permission because the dog is allowed to get the reward. So the dog isn't dropping it because it doesn't want to hold it, it's dropping it so it can get the food or get the toy. Again, you can teach the dog to hold it if you have one hand and take it with two. That's a very simple, much more easy way for them to understand. In IGP, which I do with my boxer, the dog is allowed a verbal cue on the release. So when you touch it, you then say out, the dog lets go. So it depends on what your sport allows. In obedience in the UK, we can touch the article and remove it. So again, some of the articles can be like, if I have a light article, or not that you shouldn't in this country, but something that's, I know with strut, I would often get an article that would sit very, it was like a ring or something like that. So me making that physical gesture with him was definitely a cue that he understood really, really well. You don't have to go to that length to overtrain it. That was something that I did by choice. I would suggest sticking to one hand means hang on, two hands means let go. All right. So is there any more questions from, I'm just going to check on my phone whilst, okay. I don't think there is. I'm just going to check. Okay, so I don't think there's any more questions. Hopefully that's been helpful, seeing me train Jungle and just starting a retrieve off. Obviously, It's a somewhat of a false solution because she obviously can do a retrieve, she can pick up the article, etc. But it gives you an idea of how I would work the dog through the various issues and stages and what they need to know to be able to get a solid hold. If you want to, oh, hang on, another question. Thank you. Okay, great. How would you start a dog that's not interested in picking things up? So just before another question from Petra. Initially you can make it a little bit of a toy. Have a little bit game with them, and even in that instance, if the dog is very, very, very reluctant to pick something up, then I would use something that the dog was comfortable with picking up. I might even, to start them off, play with it. So a bit of hose pipe is a great one to start off with, because you can use it as a toy, get them comfortable with it. So I teach my dogs to pick up metal as well. And what I do with metal to start them off is I will feed them from a spoon, a metal spoon, so they're comfortable with metal in their mouth. You can try that with, say, a wooden spoon, and then use the wooden spoon to get them to start the retrieve off. Or a plastic spoon, same principle applies. So get the dog comfortable holding things in their mouth in general. Don't start the process of clicker training the retrieve. And then once the dog is comfortable putting the wooden spoon in their mouth, then consider shaping it. All right? Any more questions from anybody? I don't think so. So, I'm just going to double check on my phone. Okay. So, if you do have any more questions, just pop them in the thread on the questions, and I will, on the question and answer session, I will pick them up. So next week I'm going to be opening access to join the Jungle Book. The Jungle Book is a 12-month insight into my 3 puppies. Jungle, who you just saw, Reset, who you saw on Monday doing his present or front training or waiting room sit, and on Friday I'm going to do another live session with Hottie, showing small spaces what you can do with body awareness, and also some foundation for various dog sports. But I'm going to run through that with her on Friday. If you are interested in joining, you can sign up next week. If you want the opportunity to win a free place on that group, just share either of the demonstration videos. So the demonstration video I did with Reset, or the demonstration video I've just done with Jungle. Share either of those videos and tag me in it. That's really, really important. Make sure that you tag me. And once you've tagged me, I'll know that you have. I will randomly draw somebody out on Friday to get a free place on that group. So as I say, if you want to sign up, you can sign up from next Monday. Officially, it's going to be open all week. You can sign up, and I'll be sending emails out if you're in my email group. Feel free to share the videos with your friends, anybody that's struggling with retrieve. And as I say, I'm going to post some videos of some of Jungle and a couple of other puppies earlier sessions, so you can see it in much more raw, the raw stages. But if there's no final questions, everybody, thank you very much for joining and watching. Hopefully it's been interesting. Post a comment. And if you have, as I say, I'm going to do body awareness on Friday. But if you have anything that you would like me to cover in that Friday session, I'm not sure of the time just yet, by all means, message me, post a comment, and I'll have it, and I'll try and incorporate it. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your evening. Stay safe, and speak to you Friday.